Welcome back to the deep dive. So, we got this challenge, right? Find a real calamity, something just unbelievably weird and funny, something to maybe even give Emu War a run for its money in terms of absurdity.
Which is a high bar.
Exactly. So we looked at the material you sent, those bits from New York City's pig calamity, and oh boy, did we find something.
Uh-huh. It's quite the story.
Yeah, forget a single neat event. We're talking
Yeah.
about the great New York City pig invasion. And this wasn't like a weekend thing. This went on for decades. Late 19th, early 20th century.
A prolonged state of
Let's-
porcine anarchy.
Perfectly put. So our mission today is to really dig into this just staggering level of civic messiness and the smell. We have to talk about the smell.
We do.
Seriously, can you picture it? Thousands of pigs just roaming free in New York City.
It seems completely impossible now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's this, well, fascinatingly messy reality.
It really is.
And looking into it, it does more than just tell a strange story. It really highlights the huge challenges cities faced before. You know, modern sanitation, modern infrastructure really kicked in.
Right. Things we totally take for granted.
Exactly. It shows why those systems are so vital.
Okay, so let's paint the picture. Late 19th century New York. It's exploding, population-wise. Super busy, growing like mad, looks like a modern city on the rise.
But underneath that,
Yeah, street level. The sources say it was unbelievably dirty. Almost like parts of it were still sort of semi-rural in how things worked day to day.
well, think about trash. Before regular collection, before proper street paving, before sewers were everywhere, where did all the garbage go?
Into the street.
Pretty much. Food scraps, household
Yeah.
waste even? Well, human waste just got tossed out.
Yeah.
There wasn't really another option for most people.
Okay, so the streets are literally covered in garbage. A giant free buffet.
And where there's a free buffet,
There will be pigs.
nature, or maybe just hungry animals, find a way.
So it wasn't like, bam, one day thousands of pigs appeared. The material says it was gradual. Organic, almost.
Right. Pigs escaped from nearby farms, or maybe some owners just, let them loose because feeding them was easier that way.
And they found the city streets were, and I love this quote, a veritable buffet.
Why root around in a muddy field when Broadway is covered in last night's dinner scraps?
Huh. Exactly. So these pigs basically became, what was the phrase? The unofficial, self-appointed sanitation workers of New York.
That's the one. Their job. Eat the garbage, keep the streets
Yeah.
marginally less disgusting, maybe.
But the sheer number, it's mind-boggling. We're talking thousands of pigs, not in pens, just
Right.
out there.
Everywhere. Rooting through garbage piles, wallowing in mud puddles, sleeping on sidewalks, wandering down major streets, Manhattan, Brooklyn.
They were just a part of the scenery.
Can you imagine just trying to, walk to work?
Constantly stepping around pigs. Or maybe having to shove one out of the way. It wasn't just seeing them, it was physically navigating through them. Daily.
And they caused actual traffic jams.
Pig jams.
Yeah, the sources mentioned that. Blocking pedestrians, sure, but also horse-drawn carts and carriages.
Just a big sow decides to take a nap in the middle of the road and everything grinds to a halt.
You'd have people trying to leap over them or giving them a wide berth. It sounds funny now, but imagine the daily frustration.
Pure chaos. And then, okay, we have to address the elephant, or rather, the pig in the room. The smell.
Ah, yes, the smell. The sources are pretty clear. Oh, the smell.
Is that all they give us? Oh, the smell. Come on.
Well, they try. They also say indescribable, constant, pervasive, utterly nauseating.
Okay, that helps paint a picture. A truly foul picture.
Think about it. Thousands of large animals living, eating garbage, and, defecating directly onto streets already piled with rotting refuse. Add in poor drainage and hot, sticky New York summers.
Oh, God. It must have been overpowering.
They were eating the garbage, yes, but they were contributing significantly to the overall aroma, let's put it that way.
So when people talked about New York being one of the dirtiest cities, it wasn't just hyperbole. It was, in large part, pig-related.
A huge factor, absolutely. It's a level of urban grime that's hard for us to even conceive of today.
And it wasn't just disgusting, right? The sources mentioned danger.
Yes, that's a crucial point. It's easy to picture them as sort of comical, but these weren't cute little pets.
No, these were big, free-roaming animals, probably hungry, maybe territorial.
Exactly. And there are accounts of them biting people,
Yeah.
charging at passersby, especially if they felt cornered or if someone got too close to their, garbage pile.
Oh, okay.
And the sources specifically mentioned children being at greater risk, maybe less intimidating to the pigs or just more likely to accidentally get too close. It wasn't just a nuisance. It was a genuine safety concern.
So you've got thousands of smelly, potentially dangerous pigs wandering everywhere, blocking traffic. How did the city even try to deal with this? This is where it gets truly wild, right? People claiming pig rights.
It's absolutely bonkers. Trying to control them was a nightmare, partly because, yes, some pig owners insisted they had the right to let their animals forage freely in the streets.
The right to let pigs run wild in Manhattan.
Bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when police or the hired pig catchers tried to round them up, they sometimes faced serious resistance. Shouting matches, even physical fights, with owners claiming this was their property, their livelihood.
So you had city officials basically wrestling pigs and their owners on the street.
It sounds like it. It was this clash between old, almost rural ways of thinking and the basic needs of a crowded, modernizing city. Who's actually in charge of the street? It was a mess. A jurisdictional and logistical nightmare, as one source put it.
A nightmare sounds about right. Okay, so how did this decades-long pigtopia finally end? Was there like a great pig roundup, a final battle?
No, nothing quite that dramatic. The sources suggest it was more of a slow, persistent grind. A war of attrition, maybe?
Fought on multiple fronts.
Exactly. The city just kept getting bigger, more urbanized. Health concerns became impossible to ignore. Disease outbreaks were often linked to the general filth the pigs contributed to.
So public pressure mounted.
Hugely. And the city started getting slightly more organized. They hired more dedicated pig catchers. They passed new laws, actual ordinances, banning free-roaming animals.
And crucially, sanitation started to improve.
Slowly, yes. Paved streets became more common. They started figuring out garbage collection, building better sewers. Bit by bit, the streets became less of an open buffet.
Making it harder for the pigs to thrive and easier to catch them.
Precisely. So it took years, decades even, but eventually, through this combined effort, they managed to round most of them up and clear the streets. No single battle, just relentless, messy progress.
It's just incredible that this wasn't some isolated incident. The sources call it a continuous, living, breathing calamity. It defined life in New York for so long.
That contrast is just stunning, isn't it? This major, bustling, supposedly modern metropolis,
Yeah.
also completely overrun by thousands of scavenger pigs.
It really puts that source rating into perspective. A clear 13 out of 10 for absurd, funny, and utterly unbelievable true calamity.
13 out of 10. I think that sums it up perfectly. It's
Yeah.
just proof of how incredibly wild city life could be before we got the basic infrastructure sorted out.
Definitely beats the Emu War for sheer, sustained weirdness, I think. So recapping this truly bizarre deep dive, a lack of basic sanitation turned New York into pig heaven, leading to thousands of smelly, kind of dangerous four-legged sanitation workers causing traffic jams and olfactory offenses.
Plus bizarre legal arguments about pig rights.
Right, and it took decades of slow, grinding effort, pig catchers, new laws, actual sewers to finally reclaim the streets. What a chapter.
It really strips bare those fundamental urban challenges.
Yeah.
Density, waste, public health, problems we think are solved now were once just massive, overwhelming facts of life.
Absolutely.
Which, makes me wonder. And maybe something for you listening to think about.
Oh, here we go. Provocative question time.
Maybe. Looking back at this absurdity, what aspect of our modern city life, something we think is totally normal right now, might people in the future look back on and just think, wow, what on earth were they doing? How did they live like that?
Huh. It's actually a really good question. Something to chew on. Well, thank you for diving deep into the great New York City pig invasion with us. It
Totally.
was memorable, truly.